What's up, everyone? I'm the Astro Mama. I bring the cosmos down to Earth to ground deep healers, creatives, and mystics. This is your weekly astro weather forecast for the week of January 12th to January 18th. We have a lot of Chironian energy in the air. Yesterday, Chiron was making a square to Venus, and this week it goes on to square several celestial bodies, including the Sun, Jupiter, Mars, and Mercury. All those planets are in Capricorn, Chiron is in Aries. This week, we also have a Capricorn New Moon on Sunday, and Venus will be entering Aquarius on Saturday around 4:44 a.m. Pacific time. We love a angel number. We have a beautiful, powerful week of some intensity, really healing and shedding old skins, old wounds, old patterns, letting our freak flags fly with Venus entering Aquarius, focusing on our community, our connections, humanitarian issues, as well as entering Aquarius season, which is ruled by Uranus as the modern ruler of electricity and innovation and spunk and humanitarian issues, and remembering that at first you're weird and you're the blueprint. If any of this is resonating with you, go ahead, grab your planner or your journal and a pen, and let's get into your astro weather forecast for the week. Chironian energy represents the area of life where we experience the most amount of wounding, the most amount of pain, and something that is a continual theme throughout our life. But when we start to master and heal the lessons of Chiron in our own unique birth charts, it allows us to step up and serve humanity in a really beautiful way. You can get all these certifications and degrees you get all the certifications and degrees in the world, but the truth is nothing can truly replace real life experience. I used to train coaches at a school, and we talked a lot about mindful self-disclosure. When you see somebody and you can have all the training in the world, but nothing replaces that insight of having somebody in front of you who's going through a hard situation and you being able to see them on a deeper level because you've also been through it. One of the most challenging things about being on a healing journey is feeling like there's no purpose, feeling like it never ends. And those of you who are over here at the Astro Mama are deep feelers, creatives, and mystics. You've probably been through a lot of shit, and that's probably how you ended up here, right? We don't just wake up one day and become interested in personal growth, astrology, personal development, psychology even, without going through a little bit of pain first. It's pretty rare. But now that you're here, this is an opportunity, and you have this week to get really cozy and comfortable with being uncomfortable, breaking those patterns and those loops that you've been stuck in, so that you can show up and heal others. And I know some people might argue that that perspective is codependent, and you should really just want to heal yourself to heal yourself, and you're worthy just as you are, and you don't have to help anybody. I don't think that advice works really well for empathetic people, because I think we can use our desire to help and serve others to our advantage in that way of being authentic about it and realizing that my healing journey isn't just for me, it's for other people in my life too. And I don't have to be shy about that. And it's not in like a martyr way of I'm sacrificing myself for other people. It's more like, if I can be brave enough to break this cycle, to heal this part of me that I'm really scared to explore, then I can show up for others who are going through that, and I can be that person to them that I wish I had when I was on my healing journey. So this week is going to empower us to rise to the occasion. Let's jump into Monday, January 12th. By the time this video is being shared, it's Tuesday. Thank y'all for your patience. And myself and my daughter were having our Chironian aspects yesterday as well. So this is going to be a little retroactive. I think we can use astrology retroactively to find healing and growth. So healing comes in waves. And if you saw my daily forecast, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I shared this graph that I found, and it shows like what we think that our healing journey will look like. You've probably seen this already, but what we feel like our healing journey will look like, and it's like this linear line. And then what it actually looks like, and it's almost more of like a roller coaster. Some traditions would also say it's more of a spiral, whereas the more you heal and grow and evolve, you're spiraling outward, but you're still experiencing the cycles of life because they never fully truly go away. And something about healing that can be really heartwarming to receive is that it doesn't have an expiration date, but that's a good thing. And so whatever it is that you're healing from, please understand that healing is really about acknowledging what that is, receiving support. And then the more time that increases between you and that toxic behavior, or you and that toxic memory or pattern, etc., that pain point, time doesn't heal all wounds, but it does help. For example, let's say that you're healing binge eating or something, and I'm not a therapist, so just disclaimer, if you're looking for support with that, there's a company called National Eating Disorders Awareness, NEDA. Go ahead and check them out. They offer free resources. This is something that I've struggled with. I know many people who have. It's easy to think of when you're in recovery for that. I binged, and it was maybe the first time in a month, or the first time in 3 months, or the first time in 3 years. So I must be relapsing, and this means that I'm going to be struggling with this eating disorder forever. Celebrate yourself for the amount of time that's happened between the last time you did this and this time, because healing is really about creating more and more space between those things. We can get really insecure about our healing journey when we relapse, or when we revisit or re-experience one of those things and we start to think we're a failure. So if you had that yesterday, you texted your ex, or you binge ate, or you overworked, or you overslept, or whatever that is that you're healing from right now, I want you to pause, sit for a moment, and give yourself love and compassion. Because when you move from a place of self-hatred or feeling like you're not enough, you're just going to attract more of that. It's powerful right now at this time to really anchor in your self-love. I've been really into Layla Hormozi's work right now, and she says, fuck the mood, follow your plan. And I think that's really beneficial like 90% of the time, but it's not beneficial when you use it to feel guilty or shameful for something you already did. This video is coming out late. It's coming out on Tuesday. I wanted to come out between Sunday and Monday. But yesterday I literally physically could not record. We don't have to get into the details of that. And so instead of going through this shame spiral of, I'm so bad, I didn't just follow my plan, I didn't just haul ass in the middle of the night to record the video, I'm the worst astrologer ever in the world, and who am I to think that I'm going to grow a community this way? Who am I to think that I'm going to be of service to people who can't trust me or depend on me? And so instead of going down this like shame spiral, I could just wake up tomorrow and say, okay, I'm going to do the best I can with the time that I have, whether I want to or not, because my circumstances have changed from yesterday, and it definitely is possible, even if it feels less than I have a headache right now. I feel a little exhausted, but I'm here. So that is a time where it's like, fuck the moon, follow the plan is beneficial. I have a friend, her name's Karina, and she has this really cool group here called the Monarch Motherhood Collective in San Diego. And she made a post the other day of seeing that her house was a mess and feeling like it was going to take forever to clean it. And she just kept putting it off over and over and over again, because she was like, this is going to take so long. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. So she ended up setting a timer for one of the tasks. And it took her like 8 minutes. Sometimes when you are a deep feeler, creative, and mystic, we have this beautiful, brilliant imagination that could be utilized so beautifully in our healing work, in our art, in our creativity. And then we try to take it and bring it to all these other areas of life. Your brain could look at this room that is messy and go on 8 different tangents about how messy it is and how you can't clean it. But when you sit down and you set a timer, you're done in 8 minutes. This is also somewhat relevant too with the sun in Capricorn opposing Jupiter in retrograde in Cancer today, because when that happens, it's like we feel restricted maybe by our responsibilities or just by the emotional waters of ourselves or of others. And I think it's important to try our best to liberate ourselves from the chains that bind us, that we do have the option to do that, so that we can have more time and space to work within maybe the societal, the socioeconomic chains that could be binding us right now. We want to work with the limitations that are truly being imposed on us right now with the energy that we can have if we conserve it and we don't create new limitations and binds that constrain us, that leak all of our energy as well. And the sun in Capricorn is also conjunct Mercury and Venus in Capricorn as well right now. Channel that angst, channel that feeling of being isolated or alone or restricted into making some rad art. Write and speak and create and chant. The walls of our throat mirror the walls of a cervix and a female body person. And there's a lot of healing involved. When you open your throat chakra just through chanting, you're also opening your cervix, your Svadhisthana sacral chakra, which is your creative pleasure center. And that's why in labor, when one is giving birth, one tends to express verbally, because the expression of groaning or moaning or yelling actually helps open up the pelvis. Isn't that fascinating? The more you communicate and channel this angst into art, the more healing is possible for all parts of your body. And the more pleasure that you're able to feel just in your day-to-day life as a result. The moon was in Scorpio, and it also made a trine on January 12th to Jupiter in Cancer, the North Node in Pisces. Remember that when you are courageous and you dive into those waters of your heart and you're really going through the angst, you're breaking these cycles, don't rush yourself out of it to purposely propel your career forward. There's a business coach I worked with, Sasha, and she helped me work through this feeling of going to a healing event and feeling like I needed to immediately make content as a result. I had to learn what I was healing, all of a sudden immediately integrate the lesson and immediately produce something about it to help people. That's not supportive either, because you need space and time to integrate what it is that you're processing to be able to decide, okay, after I've integrated it, is this something that is actually worth sharing? And if it is worth sharing, who am I sharing it to? In what ways am I sharing it with them? And what is the response that I'm trying to evoke within them? Once you do all that, utilize that pain for purpose and for what it is that as a society, maybe even we're growing into, because the North Node collectively is in Pisces right now. As a society, we're moving away from the Virgo tendencies of perfectionism, but also being more analytical in the head, brilliant, but analytical, into this Pisces mysticism and spirituality and creativity and just seeing beyond the veils that we have been placed under. I feel like that's all I have to say about Monday. Let's go ahead and jump into Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday, January 13th. Mars in Capricorn makes a square to Chiron and Aries today. That exacts around 2:33 p.m. Pacific time. Mars, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun are all in Capricorn right now. They're all conjunct one another within 8 degrees. And Chiron squared Venus on Sunday, the 11th. That was the beginning of the Chiron transit party. A way to work with this energy, I feel like, is being a fierce protector of yourself. And there's a lot of healing when you choose to live your life, not to impress anybody else, but just to protect and honor your 5-year-old self. Becoming an adult can be hard and stressful, but it can also feel really rewarding when you choose to be that person that you needed as a child. And whether that's as a parent with your own children, with your friends, or even just within yourself and reparenting and holding yourself. Sometimes when Mars makes a square to Chiron, you could be feeling a little under the weather. You could just be feeling like exhausted. I have a headache today, etc. And it's just learning that balance between like, when is what I'm feeling, it hurts, it's bothering me, but it's small enough where I can push forward, and that's going to bring me further long-term, versus when is taking a break going to bring me further long-term. For example, Runner's World, I read an article there once a long time ago, and it said that if you're having neck up symptoms, you have a little bit of like a nasal thing, a little cough, but you feel okay, you can go train, you can go run. But if you're having neck down symptoms like a stomach bug, or you can fill in the blanks, makes more sense to rest, because sometimes when we push through an injury, we actually move backwards, versus taking a rest day, a rest week, even a month off from training to heal so that you can have the next 11 months of the year to train, versus, okay, I'm not going to take any time off. I'm just going to blast through this injury, and then I get injured. And now that injury takes 3 months to heal. Those of us who have been injured, sports-related injuries, you know how that is. It sucks when somebody's like, okay, you can't train. And you're like, watch me. And then you go and get injured. The month off that they requested you to take would have gone by much more quickly than the 3 months off you have to take when you have a broken foot. Moon enters Sagittarius today around 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. We love a Sagittarius moon. It brings a much needed boost of optimism and hope and expansion and spirituality and faith to the cosmos right now, and a little bit of fire, which I think we all need. It is conjunct the Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. This could be a good day to honor the more primal parts of you, the parts of you that you feel shame or guilt around, and finding ways to express them in a healthy manner. The moon is also opposing Uranus in Taurus right now. You might be having some aha moments, some epiphanies, and some electric currents moving through you when it comes to your emotional world, when it comes to what's motivating you. And this could be the kind of afternoon where you're sitting with whatever it was that you did yesterday, the Chironian slip that you had that you're learning and healing. Today you're going about your day and You're consciously being met with options to do that toxic thing again. And you give yourself almost like a timer and you say, okay, I'm going to time myself for 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, if I want to do that thing, I'll do it. But if I don't want to do it anymore, I'm going to leave, or I'm going to go distract myself. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go work on something, or I'm going to go hang out with my best friend, or I'm going to take a nap. The first 5 minutes of that suck. And you can't stop thinking about that thing that you know you're not supposed to do that you really want to do. And then you don't want to do it anymore. That's that kind of energy tonight. The moon opposite Uranus is like, wait, I don't have to do this thing to get emotional fulfillment anymore. And there could be a little bit of an emotional wave going on right now. You could be, maybe last night and also today, having like, gosh, why am I crying over my high school ex-boyfriend? Or why am I crying over my dog that passed away 5 years ago? Why am I crying over my best friend that I haven't talked to in years? Whatever. Ride the wave. Just let yourself ride that emotional wave. Journal, feel it. Give yourself a moment. I'm just going to feel this right now. And when you lean into something and you actually let yourself feel it, you process it so much faster than trying to band-aid it with coping mechanisms. Welcome to Wednesday, January 14th. Mercury in Capricorn opposes Jupiter, which is retrograde right now in Cancer around 12:16 a.m. Pacific time. I want you to explore that need to protect yourself that we talked about yesterday and your healing and your growth, and ask yourself, like, is it blocking my expansion, my abundance, my vitality, my ability to see the bigger picture? Is there a way to harness that energy so that it doesn't feel so restrictive? You know, people say what we resist persists. I'm going to say what we restrict persists as well. There has to be some kind of, with the moon in Sagittarius today, greater purpose, a greater North Star to guide you with whatever it is that you are releasing right now. So sometimes you can get to your desired destination in a way that feels more easeful, more peaceful, more calm, more connected. So you want to ask yourself, where am I making my healing journey harder than it has to be? And sometimes we do that through doing the coping mechanism, because you know how it is. When you do something toxic, then you have to kind of heal from that toxic thing, and it kind of sets you back, where it's like, if I make the healthy choice from the get-go, then I'm actually saving myself time and energy because I don't have to get myself back up on my feet. What we restrict persists. Find ways to alleviate the tension that you feel between yourself and the toxic behavior in a way that's healthy. So something that my therapist had me do when I was in eating disorder recovery is I found myself binging trail mix. So she had me buy a big bag, and I got a bunch of Ziploc bags, and she had me measure out portions. So every bag was like a portion of what the portion size was on the container. And for a week, she invited me to mindfully eat one of those bags every day. And by the 6th day, I didn't even want to eat it. I was like, oh, I'm so tired of eating this trail mix. Isn't that funny? Because I wasn't getting the dopamine hit from binging and restricting and the feeling of, oh, this is this forbidden fruit that I can't have. It was like, oh, this is always available to me. And now it's a practice I always do, where I always have junk food in the house, always. And my husband thinks it's so funny. For me, having it around actually really helps. It's an abundance thing where I'm like, oh, I could have these whenever I want. You don't want something all the time. I can go 3 weeks without eating trail mix, and then one day I really want some and I have some, and then it goes away. So finding a way to apply that to your life and whatever situation you're going through, I think can be really supportive. Welcome to Thursday, January 15th. Venus in Capricorn makes a trine to Uranus and Taurus this morning. Today, let your love be a rebellion. Let your self-love, even when you're going through the darkest of times, even when you're being toxic, even when you're doing stuff that you know you shouldn't be doing, let that be rebellious. Let your love for other people on this earth be your form of rebellion. The world feels like it's on fire right now, and I'm never going to dance around that. And I'm definitely not telling victims to go love your oppressor and forgive them immediately. That's not what I'm saying. But I saw a creator on Instagram who shared the evil powers that be. They don't want us all to be friends with each other. They want us to be scared of each other. They want us to be fighting each other. They want us to be cold and distant to each other, because then we're easier to control and manipulate. Versus when we can look at somebody in the eye and we can say, you know what? I don't agree with you, but I love you. I don't agree with you, but I don't have to hate you. Hating you does not solve the problem. What solves the problem is getting really real and raw with each other and sharing information to be like, hey, wait, I was told this thing. This is why I feel this way, because I saw this thing on this news platform. And then the other person's like, well, that's weird. Because I saw this thing on this news platform, and you realize that most people are doing the best they can with the information that they have. It just so happens that right now the information we have is so weird and distorted and not always accurate and very polarizing. We're almost not even living in the same reality anymore, because depending on what news platform you watch or who you follow on social media, you're getting different information. We need to not be so scared of being with each other, because then we're all living these echo chambers and nothing's getting done. Wow, my ring light just went out, so that's confirmation. We need to find a way to make sure that we're continuing to communicate with each other. You know, when you find somebody whose views are definitely different than yours, instead of attacking that person, attack the idea. Bring the idea into question. Well, why do you think that? Where did you learn that? How does that belief serve you? We're asking these questions so that we can inspire the person on the other end to have their own revolution and their own journey back to love. And when we're all in our hearts is when we're really able to make a difference. Later on tonight, Mercury in Capricorn makes a square to Chiron in Aries around 10:20 p.m. Pacific time. So some of these conversations you could be having right now could be making you feel really alone or isolated, or re-triggering those wounds that we were talking about earlier. Don't feel like you have to have a solution right away. And if you're processing something that's really tender, it's always better to take space to process it instead of forcing yourself being in community with people, because you might end up bringing that triggered energy into your relationships or connections with that person. And then we act in a way that we don't really love, or it doesn't feel like us. Or somebody could say something tonight that feels triggering. Take some time to really process what came up for you. What about what that person said to you was triggering? Instead of lashing out at them, going back home and processing, okay, what was so triggering to me about that, what that person said? Because there's a difference between being grounded and emotionally connected and calling people out when they say something cruel versus always being triggered. We all have those people in our lives that you have to like walk on eggshells around. You're like, can't say that because they're gonna get triggered. Can't say this because they're gonna get triggered. And that sucks. Nobody wants to be around that person. I've been that person in my past years ago. And I thought that I was calling people into conflict resolution, but I wasn't. I was actually just not taking accountability or space to process my own emotions in the back end to figure out how I want to connect with them. And it's hard. That's not easy. This is not an easy week by any means emotionally, astrologically. 2026, one would argue, might not be an easy year astrologically either. Of course, it depends on your unique astrology. If you ever want to do a transit reading with me, we could do that. The link is below, because it is true. The world could be having a really hard year, and one person individually could be having a great year. And also the world could be having a great year and they could be having a hard year. So we want to be able to learn, how is this really impacting you personally, so that you can work with your cosmic current instead of against it. This is a time for us to be brave. This is a time for us to be bold, but sometimes being brave and bold is knowing when to withdraw, when to retreat, when to hermit and go into your own healing journey, versus feeling the need to always be outward and then saying and doing things that you don't really feel like you wanted to do or that you regret later. On Friday, January 16th, the moon enters Capricorn around 3:47 a.m. Pacific time, and it makes a square to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. 9 degrees in astrology is called the Aneretic degree, and it represents a sense of urgency. When we're talking about the systems we've been talking about, this is the energy of, this needs to stop now. And sometimes we will feel something and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until we pay attention. We want to try to nip it in the butt as soon as we feel it, as soon as we notice the toxic behavior. Not with shame. Maybe yours has gotten really big, but now we want to look at it and be really brave. Okay. And on a lighter note, this could be a time to really leave something in the past, really truly leave something in the past, to really truly heal, to really truly close a chapter. Maybe there's something like a burning ritual you could do. Maybe you write a letter to that toxic tree and then you burn it in your fireplace. Or maybe you burn old journals or something in a safe way. Or maybe you draw a picture of what you thought your life was going to look like and it didn't, and then you rip it up and you burn it. This could be a great time to really do that. And if burning things doesn't feel good to you, you can always bury them. This is also a great day to really channel your emotions, your creativity as well into art. So this week, as you're going through these hard lessons, you could also be getting really big downloads for books, songs, or albums that you can create from this wounded place. Our favorite artist created probably from a wounded place, we can also create as well. Welcome to Saturday, January 17th. Venus is entering Aquarius today around 4:44 a.m. Pacific time. We love an angel number. Venus in Aquarius reminds us to stay connected to our friends, our communities, a humanitarian issue as well. It's like the story we've had over the last few months is when Venus was in Scorpio, it was really intense devotional energy to probably a lover or a passion project in more of a one-to-one way. Then Venus entered Sagittarius and it was fiery, passion, creative, expansive travel vibes. And then it went into Capricorn and it was, let's get down to work and let's put our love into a daily practice. Let's put our love into filing our taxes on time. Let's put our love into scheduling a date night 3 months in advance. Now it's in Aquarius and I'm going to share my love through devoting myself to my friends, to my community, and to some sort of collective desire for good in the world. Venus in Aquarius is also a little freaky. Let your freak flag fly. Aquarian people tend to really value unconventional relationships and being really unique. And I just think this is a really good time to allow yourself to be unique and allow yourself to bring love to those parts of you that you feel like are weird. Mercury will make an exact conjunction to Mars in Capricorn around 11:43 p.m. Pacific time today. So this energy's already been building. It could be a good day to listen to some kind of motivational podcast or read a motivational book or find a way to stimulate your mental energy. Starting with your mental energy first and letting it stimulate your body instead of getting into your body first and letting it stimulate your mind. The moon is in Capricorn right now. We're gearing up to the Capricorn New Moon tomorrow. Energy could be building around wanting to set routines and structures in place, wanting to be very methodical, and also wanting to manifest a new beginning. We're looking at a long-term goal, not something that has to happen immediately, because those small changes over time is what makes the most lasting impact. The sun will be trining Uranus today as well, around 8:58 a.m. Pacific time. There's that quote going around that people will think you're crazy today, but you'll be the blueprint tomorrow. Look at the person that you look up to in your field or the people in multiple fields of whatever areas of life. What is it about that person that you look up to? What drew you to that person? 9 times out of 10, it's because they were pretty individual. They were different. They were a breath of fresh air in whatever it is that you're doing. You get to be that person for yourself, for your friends, for your clients, and for your lovers too. You don't have to blend in with what everybody else is doing. You want to create something right now that is signature and it's also authentic to you. And let yourself stand out for being unique and innovative. Sometimes the people who are the most unique and innovative at the time, they are not celebrated. Let me know in the comments below if you know of anybody that were not respected or liked when they were alive. Like, we looked at their work after they died and we were like, wow, that was great. But they weren't respected when they were alive. I'm not saying to tolerate disrespect, but if what you're doing isn't mainstream, it's not going to be accepted in the moment, but it will be something that hopefully will plant a seed in somebody's mind to come back to later when they're ready to receive it. And it can be really innovative and actually change our whole world. Welcome to Sunday, January 18th. Happy Capricorn New Moon. This new moon exacts around 11:51 a.m. Pacific time. Conjunct Mercury, Venus, Mars, all in Capricorn. Is also making an opposition to Jupiter right now in Cancer, who's retrograde. It makes a trine to Uranus, who's retrograde right now in Taurus, and it's making a square to Chiron in Aries. This could be a really great day to take everything you've learned this week and bring it into setting some long-term goals for the rest of 2026 around working with that energy and healing it. Here's my Capricorn New Moon ritual for you. Go into a meditation, go into a visualization, and think about what is the energy that you want to bring into this year? What are some of the things that you want to achieve? Break it up by area of life. So you have like health goals, your relationship goals, your professional goals, your financial goals, etc. Shoot for the stars. Write down all the ideas that you have. It might be a big piece of paper. Or you can make a Trello board if you like something more digital. And look at those goals, and then you're going to look at your month. Let's start in February. Pick 1 or 2 of each goal and write them down. And those are going to be your goals for February. And then you want to look at your schedule and think of, okay, what do I get to factor into all of my weeks to make this thing happen? So if one of my goals is to lose 10 pounds in a healthy way or something this year, what do I need to do to do that? I need to intuitive eat or follow some sort of meal plan. I need to exercise. you would look at your calendar and think, okay, let's say Sunday I'm meal prepping for 2 hours. You put that in your calendar. I'm going to work out strength training 3 days a week. So you write down your scheduling in your workouts, almost like a meeting. So you just show up unless you are injured or something. I want to walk 10,000 steps a day. So when during the days are you doing your steps? When are you going to be walking? Put that into your calendar. Let's say that you have a business and you want to launch a retreat. Let's say the retreat is in 6 months. What is it you need to do this month? I need to find a venue. I need to get some liability insurance. I need to name it. And let's say those are your 3 goals for the month. Now you're going to look in your calendar and say, okay, how much time can I allocate each week or during the month to look for a venue? So maybe the first week I'm super busy. I have lots of meetings. So the second week I take a Monday, I block off 4 hours to go look at venues. And then maybe the week after that, I block off 2 hours to do follow-ups. And then the week after that, I'm going to spend an hour with my lawyer or something doing liability work. Let's say your goal is to call in a partner. Okay, how many meetups are you going to go to? How many speed dating events are you going to go to? Or if you're a dating app person, instead of being always on your dating app all the time, like you're working another job, maybe it's every Sunday for 2 hours, I look at my Tinder or whatever. And then on Wednesday, I look at it for 30 minutes to follow up, and then I'll make a date or something. I think we look at structures that sound so boring or like regimented. And I don't want another job or role to subscribe to, and I don't want anybody else to be my boss. But the thing is, if you don't want anybody else to be the boss of your life and boss you around and tell you what to do and give you that structure, then guess what? You gotta boss up, babe. You gotta be the boss of your own life, make your own structures, and decide what you're gonna do. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to navigate this world as a spiritual being on this earth, if you don't want somebody else being in charge of it for you. Write the rules for yourself so you don't have to wait for anybody else to write them for you. Take control of your life so that you don't have to leave it up to anybody else to step in and do it for you. The moon is going to be entering Aquarius later today, around 2:18 p.m. Pacific time, and the sun is going to be moving into Aquarius tomorrow. We're ending out Capricorn season with a more Aquarian vibe of a little bit of detachment, but also this humanitarian energy, this desire to be connected in groups. This could be a good day to do a vision board party or some sort of group manifestation with other people and share and bounce ideas off of each other. Also a great day to mastermind with like-minded people who are equals to you in whatever it is that you're doing. Mercury will be making a trine to Uranus later around 9:37 p.m. Pacific time. If you get a download, write it down. If you get a genius idea, write it down, put it on the whiteboard, put it on your vision board. In 2020, I made a vision board. It was like the beginning of TikTok. And I saw this quote in a magazine and it said TikTok famous, and I thought it was kind of funny. So I cut it out and I put it on my vision board, and it was almost a joke. Like, I'm gonna get TikTok famous. Well, I never got famous, but I did grow my account to over like 20,000 followers. It was hysterical because there was no strategy involved. I had no social media strategy for TikTok. I had spent years trying to grow an Instagram account. I no longer have TikTok, by the way. Once I saw that they were getting sold to Oracle, I didn't want to be attached to that energy. But it was interesting how it was very effortless. I was just having fun. I was creating. There was no strategy. And I was just sharing. There was a blue Joybird couch I put in a vision board years ago. And I didn't buy a Joybird, but I did buy a couch in the same color from a friend. I was at her house and I mentioned that it looked like my vision board, and she sold it to me for like 150 bucks. Make a vision board. Make a mood board for your year, and you can look back and see, gosh, wow, that did happen. And it's weird because the things that we put in our vision boards, whether it happens that year or the next year, it tends to happen very easily. Let me know in the comments below, what was something that you put on a vision board that manifested? Let us know in the comments below. I'm so curious. It's my 4th or my 5th weekly, which is so cool. And this is very new for me, so thank you. I've been an astrologer for a while, but I've done mostly readings. Forecasting is a new skill that I'm exercising. I just appreciate y'all for being here at the beginning. It means so much to me. Like, every view that I receive on these forecasts, every comment, every like, every subscription, I really take it to heart. My goal is making astrology as accessible and as easy to understand to as many people as possible, and to gently guide us away from the AI astrology lords, because I think astrology is really meant to be a healing tool delivered human to human. And I also understand that not everybody can afford to get an astrology reading. I want to find ways through these forecasts to make astrology really accessible to people and free, human to human. And then you could use those skills in your life and you probably start to earn more income, and then you could invest in a reading with an astrologer to go deeper. That's really what I'm trying to do here. And it's no shame if you use AI for astrology. I'm not going to shame you. Again, I understand. If you know you could do something for free and you don't have the funds to do it, like why wouldn't you? And I want to be a part of finding a solution to that. I do weekly AstroWeather Forecast on YouTube and Spotify. You can sign up for my newsletter below too as well if you want to get them received straight to your inbox. When you sign up for my newsletter, you also get a astrology for beginners guide. And I do daily forecasts in 3 minutes or less on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. Link that all below. Would love to see you over there. And I hope you have a magical, mystical week as much as you can with all this Chironian energy in the air. Bye.